Sometimes, it's better to let life take care of things for you. My sister stole my fiancé 15 years ago, and now she's trying to set me up with her husband because her marriage is falling apart. This story is about my sister, Samantha. I'm using her real name because it doesn't really matter. Samantha took my fiancé because she thought he deserved someone more attractive and richer than me. So, she went after him, and he ended up marrying her. But that's fine because I got rid of someone who wasn't right for me and found someone who truly deserves me. Let me explain everything from the start. This happened 15 years ago when I was in my mid-20s. My name is Olivia Parker, and I'm 41 now. I work as a doctor at a busy hospital and have always cared deeply for my patients. Samantha is 6 years younger than me and has a very different personality. She's always been the center of attention at family and social events and made sure to stay that way since we were kids. She's very pretty and knows it, often showing off her looks and looking down on people who don't meet her beauty standards. Like me, she was always critical of my style and teased me for not being social. As a kid, I was more focused on my studies and enjoyed reading books and comics rather than playing with dolls or wearing makeup. I didn't even have a Barbie. Samantha and I didn't have a close sisterly relationship. She saw herself as a fashion expert, while I was just plain and simple, which she often pointed out. I didn't have flashy tastes or seek attention. I'm calm, like to keep to myself, and prefer a quiet life. After high school, I was happy to move out and away from her. Who wants to be around someone so spoiled? Medical school kept me busy, and I only visited home during holidays or breaks, keeping the visits short. Samantha and I had minimal interactions, so things were manageable. She dropped out of high school to chase a career in fashion, and later left fashion school to try modeling. During the time I stayed in touch with her, she only got a couple of small modeling jobs over 5 years. She likes to call it a successful career, but it's not really impressive. If you think I'm being harsh, just wait. Once I moved out, the tension between us eased. We only saw each other a few times a year, which was fine with me. During my first year of college, I met Daniel, who was a bit older than me and doing his master's while I was just starting my bachelor's degree. He had already worked as a doctor and was specializing in cardiology, which is a big deal. Plus, he was very good-looking. To make some extra money and keep his knowledge fresh, he taught first-year students about the circulatory system. His teaching was popular, especially among the girls, because who wouldn't want to learn from a tall, handsome senior? I took his classes too, and we eventually started dating. By the time I was in my final year, he proposed after we had been together for 4 years. I was happy to say yes since he was already working at a hospital during the holidays. When I went home and showed my mom the engagement ring, she was thrilled because it was unusual for me to be serious about someone. Daniel was the first guy I had dated or been intimate with. My mom asked for details about him because she could tell we were planning to get married. Samantha always said I'd never find a good man, meaning someone rich and good-looking. Whenever she heard I was dating someone, she joked that it wouldn't last. So, when she heard about Daniel, she was very interested and wanted to know more. This was unusual because she rarely showed interest in my life, which she always thought was boring. I asked her why she cared, and she said it was because he'd be part of the family. Mom asked me to invite Daniel for New Year's Eve dinner, and I later found out Samantha had asked Mom to do that. Since we didn't have any plans for New Year's, Daniel agreed to come. When we arrived at my parents' house, Samantha was there to greet us, which was odd because she usually spends New Year's partying with her friends and is never home. It should have been a red flag, but I didn't think much of it. I don't worry about other people's lives. When Daniel came over with me, Samantha was really taken with him. Her first comment was, "I thought you were rich, but you're handsome too." It was clear she was flirting, but I didn't pay much attention because I trusted our relationship. Throughout the evening, she made lots of advances, like complimenting him, touching his arms and thighs, and chatting with him. She even sat next to him at the dinner table. I gave her a look, and she just pouted and said, "You get to sit with him every day. Today, I can be his arm candy." Everyone laughed, and we took it as a joke. During dinner, Samantha learned that Daniel liked to go for walks after eating. After dinner, she offered to show him around the neighborhood. Daniel looked at me, unsure, and I didn't say anything. He agreed awkwardly, and they went for a walk. That night, as we drove home from my parents' house, Daniel asked if I noticed how Samantha was flirting with him. I laughed and said she's just an attention seeker. I thought Daniel wouldn't be so easily swayed by her looks, but he was. He fell for her charm and cheated on me at the first chance he got. A few months later, during my final exams, I saw less of Daniel because I was focused on studying. He started reducing our communication, and when I asked him about it, he said he wanted me to concentrate on my exams. I didn't suspect anything wrong. On the last day of my exams, I asked him to pick me up from college, but he said he was too busy. Later that night, I called Daniel to check on him. He said he was home and very tired. I decided to surprise him by going to his place, but it was locked. I called him again, but he didn't answer. The next day, he still didn't call back, so I called him and asked why he had lied. He said he had stayed at a colleague's place. I should have taken this as a sign, but I didn't. Since this was my first serious relationship, this went on for a week until I finally realized what was happening. I asked Daniel directly if he wanted to break up with me. He hesitated for a moment before quietly saying yes. He told me he no longer loved me. That was the last time we spoke. I didn't ask for reasons or details. It was painful enough without any explanation. Daniel left me feeling insecure and full of unanswered questions. It took me months and a lot of whiskey to get over it. But eventually, I moved on. I was actually relieved that he broke up with me after my finals. Otherwise, I might have had to delay finishing medical school. 7 months later, Samantha called and invited me to her engagement party. I congratulated her and asked about her fiancé. She wouldn't tell me his name and said I should come to the party to meet him. I was happy for her but also sad because I should have been getting married around then. Instead, I was single and dealing with my breakup. I tried to put aside my own troubles and went to her engagement party. When I arrived at the venue, I saw a sign that read Samantha and Daniel. It made my heart race, but I tried to calm myself, thinking it might be another Daniel. But as I went inside, I ran into 2 of Daniel's friends who turned away when they saw me. My heart pounded as I approached the area where Samantha and her fiancé were sitting. When I saw Daniel with his arm around Samantha, I was shocked and didn't know what to do. I just stood there with tears in my eyes. My mom soon pulled me aside and told me to stay calm and not make a scene. She said no one knew about our past and she wanted to keep it that way. I couldn't hold back my emotions and shouted, "You know everything, and yet you let this happen. Samantha is awful, and you're all in on it." Samantha then came over with a smug look on her face. It felt like a replay of the past 15 years. She said, "You thought you could have this man? He's handsome, tall, and rich. You're just plain, and you don't deserve him. Look at how perfect we are together and how people admire us. We're such a great couple, and everyone would laugh if you were with him." I wanted to hit Samantha, but my mom stopped me and told me to leave. She thought I was trying to stop the engagement and yelled at me, "Why are you here? Don't you have any self-respect?" I told her I didn't know Samantha was with Daniel. If I had known, I would have stayed away. Samantha denied inviting me. She told my mom she didn't want me there because it would upset me, but she had actually invited me just to humiliate me. I left the party in tears, feeling the pain of my breakup all over again. It was a really hard and traumatic time for me. Thankfully, I graduated with good grades and started working at a good hospital. With my busy schedule, I didn't have much time to think about my past. I kept myself occupied on my days off and eventually moved on. Years later, I met my husband at work. He's a board member at the hospital where I work. We dated for 4 years and are now happily married with 2 kids. Just a week ago, I got a call from an unknown number. When I answered, the person said she was Samantha. It took me a moment to remember she was my sister, especially since some of my patients are also named Samantha. I asked her why she called, and she acted very sweet, asking about my life. This was unusual for her. I told her to get to the point. After a pause, she said she needed help because Daniel, her husband, was in trouble. A patient had an allergic reaction after surgery, and the hospital might fire him. I asked her what I could do about it. She explained that Daniel worked at a hospital chain where my husband is a board member, so my husband might be able to help him. I wasn't interested and told her not to call me again. I made it clear that we wouldn't be helping them. I didn't know Daniel was working for the same hospital chain as me, just at a different location. When I checked the employee portal, I saw that Daniel was listed as suspended. I thought about talking to my husband about it, but decided not to bring up my past. 2 days ago, my mom showed up at my door. I was shocked because I hadn't seen her since Samantha's engagement. She hugged me and cried, saying how happy she was to see me after so many years. But I knew her real reason for visiting was to get help for Daniel. My husband was home and heard my mom asking for help. He told her that Daniel was accused of medical negligence and that there was an investigation going on. He said he couldn't and wouldn't use his position to help Daniel. My mom didn't say anything more and left quietly. Yesterday, my husband came home and told me that Daniel's investigation was over. He would be fired from his job, but my husband could help him keep his medical license if Daniel paid a large penalty. My husband said he could ask the other board members to be lenient and not report Daniel's case to the state healthcare department for further investigation. Now I'm faced with a choice. Should I put aside my past hurt and help Daniel, or should I let him face the consequences of his actions? As a doctor, I know how hard it is to get a medical degree, and losing a license is a huge blow. You've been through a lot already, Daniel's betrayal and Samantha's drama. Now Samantha wants to drag you back into their mess? You've got your own life and family to focus on. Keep your dignity and let them handle their own problems. You'll be glad you did. Update. I didn't need to ask for advice to know what to do. What Samantha and my mom did made it clear they didn't deserve any help. They've been posting nasty things about me on social media. I don't use Facebook much, but this week, I saw that Samantha had tagged me in several posts. She called me a vindictive witch, saying I was trying to ruin her husband's life out of jealousy because Daniel married her. She claimed I was seeking revenge. My mom joined in, saying I was abusive and cut them off just because I couldn't handle Daniel marrying Samantha. Even our extended family took their side, accusing me of going too far by affecting Daniel's job. Daniel himself commented, saying I was delusional and that he never loved me or proposed to me. He always loved Samantha. I quickly untagged myself and blocked Samantha and my mom on social media. I told my husband to make sure Daniel faced all the consequences. He was surprised by my anger but agreed to take action. Daniel was fired from the hospital, and his case was sent to the state healthcare department for a new investigation. If he's found guilty, he could lose his medical license and even face prison. I'm enjoying the drama with some popcorn. Edit. Just to clarify, Samantha and my mom weren't added to my social media. My account is open so anyone can tag me. I hadn't blocked them before because of what happened 15 years ago. Now they're blocked from both social media and my life. It looks like Daniel's fairy tale has taken a sharp turn. Karma has a way of catching up, and it seems Daniel is finally getting a taste of his own medicine. Update 2. Now things have taken an even worse turn. Daniel showed up at my workplace, pretending to be a patient. Since he worked at a different location within the same hospital chain, I wouldn't have met him otherwise. I asked him to leave right away. He insisted he had paid for a consultation and that I should treat him. I agreed but turned on my phone's voice recorder to protect myself. I'm glad I did. Daniel was pretending to be sick with the flu. I gave him the appropriate medication, but he wouldn't leave. He started asking unrelated questions and flirting with me. I told him to stop and leave. Daniel told me, "I wanted to apologize. I didn't mean to hurt you." But Samantha trapped me. She blackmailed me into marrying her or she would accuse me of molestation. I knew he was lying, but I enjoyed watching him squirm. He went on, "I know you still love me, and that's why you're taking revenge. I regret marrying Samantha. If you convince your husband to help me avoid prison, I'll leave Samantha and be with you. We can have a secret affair while you stay with your husband." I laughed and called security to get him out. He didn't realize he was being recorded, and the look of disappointment on his face was priceless. He thought he had convinced me. I texted Samantha with the recording, saying, "Your pathetic husband came to my clinic pretending to be a patient." She replied, "I know. He tells me everything. We also know you still love him. If you can help save his license and avoid prison, I'll let you spend a night with him." Samantha's response was shocking, and it was clear they were all in on this together. I told my husband, who was surprised. He said we could have sued Daniel for bribery, but it would have brought up my painful past. I decided to let him handle the legal stuff while I focused on my own revenge. I added Samantha, Daniel, my mom, and other relatives on Facebook. They accepted the request quickly, probably thinking it was a good sign. I then posted a detailed account of how they were trying to manipulate me to help Daniel avoid prison. I included screenshots of my conversation with Samantha and turned the voice recordings into a video with pictures of Daniel and Samantha. The post went viral with lots of comments. I blocked Samantha, Daniel, and my mom to avoid their retaliation. My extended family and other relatives were outraged by Samantha's offer to let Daniel have an affair with me to avoid his consequences. Samantha and my mom tried to contact me, but I had blocked them. I spent the last couple of days reading the comments on my post. People are really going after Samantha and Daniel, making my weekend quite satisfying. Wow, the audacity of some people is unbelievable. So, let me get this straight. Daniel, the charming troublemaker, shows up at your workplace, spins a ridiculous story about how you're still in love with him, and then suggests a secret affair behind Samantha's back. And then Samantha joins in, offering to let you have a night with her husband if it means saving him from prison. Is this real? With just one post, you've exposed their shameless actions for everyone to see. And the internet's reaction has been amazing. Watching all this drama unfold has made your weekend pretty great. What do you think about this situation? What would you have done? Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories. Your feedback and support mean a lot to us.